are live. We are live. Another day, Footy Fantasy podcast. We have a full team here today. I'm just here for a couple of minutes, by the way. Just here to troll. That's all I'm here for.
I know. It's like you can be mean to me about Liverpool in person.
Just here to discuss. That's all I'm here for. Nothing. I'm not even any jokes. Just here to troll. We are starting with Liverpool. If nobody knew why I'm here, we're starting with Liverpool today, and I'm excited to be here because we're starting.
Of course you are.
If you're watching us, if you're just joining us, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. You should have friends, so that's what I'm going to say. Tell your friends, tell your family. Footy Fantasy, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. We're live. We're road to 1K on Twitter. We're growing the channel, road to 500 on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe while you join us. Come here for banter, come here for everything. Educated analysis, for fun, for everything. We're going to do calling shows today also. Like we started last week, and it got a lot of I think good reviews. So let me introduce guests. To start with Linga, Scouse Queen. It's been a while. I had to send Ravens to get Linga today.
I've been hiding. The doors were all locked.
Everything.
It's like in Harry Potter where they're trying to stop him, and like the letters keep coming from everywhere, and they're trying to run away. Come on the pod. I can't.
She blocked me on everywhere. It was a raven. I sent a raven, and a raven came to a window. And then
Game of Thrones style.
Linga, good to see you. Thanks for coming on as always.
Good to see you. Liverpool haven't played this weekend, so I'm in a good mood, good vibes all around. We'll see how I feel tomorrow.
Exactly.
Next on the show, it's been a while. I think early in the season he came out. And to be fair, he was very bullish about Arsenal. Early in the season, Ovie called it. I hate saying this, but he kind of said it. From the first few games, Arsenal are going to be in title race. And I'm like, look at this man. And he's here, Ovie. I'm sure you're happy that you're right.
I mean, like I said, I follow Arsenal religiously, and I saw details. Like last time I was here, I pointed out some things that they're doing the same stuff, but they're getting better at it. They're getting older, and I see only good things. So I'm happy to at least so far be on the right path. Hopefully, we can push through to the end and then carry trophies at the end. Let's see how that goes.
Okay, no problem. Next on part of the team, also Liverpool fan. Me and him have a love-hate relationship when we're trolling, always trolling each other. Ola, what's going on?
I don't know about the love-hate relationship. It's all 8 for me. All
exactly.
8. How can I love a Man United fan? I can't. It's not possible.
Honestly.
Look at another one.
Speak of the devil.
Love 8. There's no love 8 here, man. All 8.
What are you doing? These Liverpool fans are stressed. Oh my God! Our glasses don't even fit anymore, bro.
No. Agakwame, you missed what Linga said. We're actually in a good mood because we've not played yet. So that's why we're so eager to join the podcast.
It's a great weekend, man. I'm straight chilling.
We're so happy because we've not played yet. We've not been trashed yet.
If you don't play, you don't lose.
It's going to be bloody.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with that. If you don't play, you don't lose.
Exactly.
But luckily, some of us play and we win. So,
yeah. Look at these United fans now. They won't let us rest.
Bruh,
oh my God, they've already started.
It ain't easy. Listen, when I was suffering, when I was out there suffering, I remember them days. So it's good. It feels good. It feels good right now.
Oh, I would never let you down.
See you, bro. Obi is looking shaky on that chair, just like Arsenal on that tree.
The cold sweat has started to form.
I'm just happy that United is in the race this week. I know next week once they lose, they're out of the race again. So
this guy has started.
Man, we used to be part of these conversations about the title race. I remember those days.
Those days when we used to
argue about who's going to win the league.
Not leading from the top half. Leading from the top half.
The only race Liverpool is in is a sack race, bro. And
we're losing it.
Let me introduce the rest of the guests. Relax. Let me just rest of the
oh,
gang.
my bad. I just came and started talking.
That's cool. Next to the team, 2 United fans. You know him, Oga Kwame. He's here as always. He's been throwing
Bro. Always.
Also your host. Who's going to be your host? I'm just here to just set up the trolls and run away. I'm going to run away from the show. Zaza, it's been a while. Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks. Sorry, guys, I was a bit late. I got caught in traffic on my way back home, but I got back just in time. I got in time. It's a pleasure to be here today. Manchester United won, and I can troll today. So please,
right. Life is good.
Feels good. They said they're chill because they haven't played, but if you haven't played, you can't win points. So.
Fact.
Yeah, but
we can't lose them either. We can't lose them either.
So Liverpool, let's set the context. Liverpool is 10th. Last season they're going for the quadruple. That's what the man will tell you. I wasn't it's about quadruple.
Was it me? Or it was not me?
Beginning of the season, Liverpool fan.
Liverpool had 4 buses ready for each trophy for the celebration. These guys hired trains, they hired planes, they hired buses. All those things are empty. This year
the trains are on strike.
Yeah,
on strike everywhere. The trains are injured. Sorry, they're injured.
So there was a certain Liverpool fan. Beginners, not the ones on here. I'm not stitching anyone on here. He came on here with big chest, telling me Liverpool are going to win the league. I remember that. I looked at him. Really? All of a sudden, Liverpool, now that they are 10th, all I hear is Pepelingas. Liverpool is the only fan that they'll blame assistant coach before they blame them.
You did that.
Okay. Wait.
Straight bullets everywhere.
Okay, Linda, tell me, who deserves to be part of? Okay, that's all matter. Who deserves to be part of Liverpool review?
Okay, no. Wait. Hold on. Before we go there, look, because we need to see this. This is very important. This is a very important comment.
What does that mean? Oh no! Get out of here! Why are y'all so personal? Damn.
Linger. See, the thing is, this is what happens when you've been talking with big chest for the last 5 years. This is what happens. You still have that stupid Pep face. You still have that stupid Pep face. This is why the trolls will not stop. You don't even wear glasses no more.
Man, it's all right. We're coming back.
Okay. Let's give a Linger. Please continue.
Oh my God.
I don't even know what's the question.
Let's go back to the question. I said, who deserves to be? Which Liverpool players deserve to be in part of this rebuild?
That's a good question.
So, I think I like the phrasing of that question because it's not who should we let go. I'm a very sentimental fan, so in my mind, it's more like who should get less playing time but will still be part of the family, and that's most of them. So who should we keep forward with? I mean, I'm literally looking at our squad right now. Salah, Ayo's favorite player, Darwin. Darwin's coming good, guys. I can feel it in my bones. Diaz and Jota someday will not be injured, so that would be fun. Maybe they'll be part of it. Yakpo, Fabio, like all of our forwards are actually pretty solid.
007
Obviously,
Gakpo.
Mo.
Forget 007 Gakpo. 0 goals, 0 assists Gakpo.
Following his hero Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, midfielders. The midfielders honestly where things start to go downhill fast. And again, I think we've talked about this before. It's a series of different things. Age. Actually being in 4 races. No, we didn't win, but we played way more games than any other team. Legs are gone. I mean, I also just feel like on an individual level, some of them just can't do basic shit. And I'm like, I don't understand why this is happening to you. Like I've said before on this very pod, the Monstars from Space Jam took our skills. So someone has to go down and get them back. But okay, so when I look at our midfielders, who should get less playing time, perhaps not be part of the rebuild? I mean, Milner just for age, but not for enthusiasm and lack of passion. But honestly, people who I'm kind of sad to say, like, Fabinho's been kind of shocking. I don't get what's going on, but when I think of our future, thinking of him in a pivotal role just doesn't feel like it's what's best for us, which breaks my heart to say about Fabinho, who has been amazing for us. Henderson should be part of the rebuild and is an amazing captain, but should still also get a little less playing time. I think Ox and Keita are probably going to leave and just answer the question for me, but I don't see them being part of a helpful rebuild either. Their legs aren't even gone, but they've just never been as effective as they could have been for two players who I think are actually very good. Curtis Jones, like, keep all the kids. The kids have Harvey Elliott, great promise. I mean, I don't know if I believe Arthur Melo is real. I haven't seen him play for other teams. Allegedly.
Juventus style.
He's on this squad list. Like, I don't recognize that face, so I can't offer any commentary. And then we get to the defenders. Lord. Okay. Konate must be part of everything. Virgil has been a little shady recently. Still very good looking, but not playing the most beautiful defending I've seen from this guy. But he should be part of it, of course. Robbo and Trent, I think, should both be part of it. Trent is so up and down, but I think it's ridiculous to not have a team where Trent Alexander, if you can have Trent Alexander, not to put him in your team. The other ones, honestly, like Gomez, probably less playing time. He has a good game in him once in a while. But he also has a shocking game with him once in a while. Matip has been so patchy that it's honestly hard to say. Like, I just need a few consistent good games from him to remind me of the Matip who I've seen before. But that's almost the issue with this squad, which is like, where is the player I've seen before? I don't know. I honestly just, it's hard to tell what's happened to them. So probably less playing time for Matip. Costas should not be allowed to get cornrows. I don't care whether he plays for us or not. The hairstyles he be getting are shocking. I hate them. He plays like a crazy man. He always looks tired, and he's in his early 20s. Like, I don't even know what to say about this guy.
That's what happens when you smoke weed.
I
Aren't they not allowed to smoke weed?
Weirdly, I think everybody in Liverpool is kind of looking tired. That's a weird thing about it, but it kind of looks like that.
Yeah, when you're losing,
Manager, players, everyone just looks tired.
When you're losing so many games, mental fatigue sets in. Yeah, there's no way to get around.
Honestly.
Mental fatigue sets in. You look tired. You won't look boisterous. You won't look happy when you're getting L after L after L. Come on.
I don't know. I mean, I also want to use this medium to defend in person, well, I guess on video, why I said Klopp should be fired. But whenever you're ready.
Oh yeah, we'll address that.
I'm gonna go, guys.
Strongly disagree with that.
I'll be in the comments.
Disagree with that.
Trust me, I'll be in the comments and I'll be firing.
Be in the comments.
When Ola starts talking, that's when I'll be firing my shots. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for
They're not just to be fired. They're not just to be fired. I have bulletproof here, man. Come on, I came bulletproof. Best is on, man. The Liverpool.
I don't know. It's not really an argument because we know we're shit. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, they're not even disputing that, Linger.
Oh my God, we're exactly.
Dickhead.
These comments are wild today. These comments are wild.
Listen.
I have not met most of you people talking trash to me. Please leave me alone. Yeah. Klopp is looking older. Like, you know how Obama started to suddenly look really old 5 years in? Klopp is looking older. The crop of feeling the chest pains. Honestly, man. Like, the only thing getting me through this conversation is knowing I'm going to see Rihanna in 5 hours. It's okay.
Oh,
you guys, Rihanna in 5 hours.
Well,
but honestly, a lot of the teams should not. All the young players and all of the attackers should be part of it. Everyone else is actually a debate, honestly. Okay. Like, Thiago is so good, but some of his games are shocking, and he's always injured. And, like, so many of our players, more than ever before, always injured. So, like, when I think of a rebuild, I'm like, who can we actually rely on who's not injured? And that's when I miss someone like Genie or obviously Mane, who just rarely got injured. Ola, what do you
And
think?
to back up your point, Linger, what you were saying, even about Otomelo, who we don't really believe exists, we bought a right back to help Trent this season. Calvin Ramsey is a young lad. He
got injured today.
He's out again. He's been injured like 2 or 3 times this season, and now he's out long time again. And he's just like 20 years old, and he's getting in. You're buying your backup players, and they're also getting injured. I won't say. I will even start with who should we retain in our medical team, because I'm going to fire all of them. The medical team are useless because I don't know how our players keep getting so many injuries. Okay, we didn't have a club doctor for months.
Was City bribing them? When we get to the allegations, I want to see specific ties between Manchester City and our medical team, because they'll be massaging someone, something like twist their ankle or something. Like
the number of injuries we pick up. These are injuries we pick up in training, not even during the games.
Honestly,
these players are getting injured in training. What are they doing? They're getting injured in training. So, in answer to the question, yeah, I back up most of what you said, Linger. The ones we'll probably keep. I think Milner, we love him. I think Milner should be out now. Like, he should just say, okay, it's done enough. Let Anderson take on the Milner role, where Anderson will be the one coming on for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, see out the game, play some games. We have enough. We have enough old legs now. We don't need Milner and Anderson in the same squad. Ox and Keita, they're gone. Their contracts are up. No, I don't see them getting new contracts. In the midfield, Fabinho, his form has dropped so badly. I don't know. Can he come back? It's the way it has gone. It's not like, okay, the decline was coming, but we didn't know it was going to be this bad. So we'll still keep
usually
him.
You have a slow decline often, right? It was just like,
pew, just went
like
bam, just went straight down, bam,
like a roller coaster.
It's crazy. It's crazy. In the forward line, we'll keep all the ones we can. I want Bobby to stay. Bobby Firmino,
I want Bobby to stay desperately.
I think he deserves a 2-year contract. I think at least just keep him around. Just keep him around. He
was one of our best players in the first part of the season.
Before he got injured,
because
he was our best forward
everything
player.
went so terribly for so long, and now we can't even remember the first few weeks where it's like, oh, here's a draw, here's an L, that's okay. Now it's like, oh God, here we are again. Bobby was scoring left and right.
He was.
We saw those big ass gleaming teeth. It was amazing.
He was, and we'll keep Jota, we'll keep Diaz. Hopefully when they're fit, because they barely played this season. Defense is where I have a big issue, because Matip is going to be 32, I think. Van Dijk is going to be 32. We have what's his name? We have Konate. Konate is injury prone.
Big Ibu
is injury prone. I think he's even more injury prone than Thiago. He misses more games than Thiago, to be honest. And he's good. Like, Ibu is so good when he plays, but he picks up these random injuries a lot.
I think there's only maybe 3 or 4 players in Liverpool that are not injury prone.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Alisson, Van Dijk.
But Van Dijk is injured.
He's not injured. So it's Alisson and then maybe Salah. That's about it.
27-man squad. 27-man squad, and I think 24 have been injured. Not just one game. Most of these people have been injured at least 3 or 4 games out.
Okay. Now I want to say something here, which is this, because someone asked that question, but I also thought about, been thinking about it. Ayo says, are we going to talk about Klopp's inability to rebuild teams? But to me, it's not about his inability to rebuild teams. It's about his style. And then the amount of games Liverpool have played in the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
High press, the high octane football. Don't rest. It's prone to burnout. And it's whether you're doing a rebuild or not, because we're talking about rebuilding a team, but Liverpool have spent a bit of money in the past, and Liverpool have been unwilling to invest or reluctant to invest in particular areas, the midfield, some parts of the defense. So this is a team that actually needs to be invested in constantly, because there's so much wear and tear on the team. So is this a function of the manager overdoing his style and not sometimes learning to relax a bit, or is it the owners? Or
I'll come in
that question.
But
hold on, because I'm going to give you guys a minute each, because
I have
a minute each on this, and then we move on to other things.
Yeah,
please.
Okay.
I can do 30 seconds. I can do 30 seconds. It's all of them. Like, but I don't think Klopp has to change his style because it works. But we have to realize the reality of like most of our squad are these players who've won so many things and run so hard, and they were already getting older. It's just not possible. So yes, our owners need to invest logically. We keep buying kids and we'll buy the one or two like star players like Darwin or whatever, but in the midfield and the defense, we need more creativity and stability, which we're not getting. And part of it is on Klopp. I do criticize Klopp for it. And I think he's still fully the right person to lead us if he's going to be invested in to actually execute his style. And if he's not, then it's just not going to work. But yeah, that's me.
Well, for me, the question is it's the question from Ayo also about inability to rebuild. And people forget that we've been rebuilding in the past few years. The front line that Klopp started with is not the front line we have now. The midfield that he started with is not the midfield we have now. Even the defense, he's been rebuilding this team. It's just that when people hear rebuild, they just think, oh, you clear out 10 players and bring in 10 players. We've been doing it gradually. It's been forced also because we don't have the money to do what Chelsea do, where they just buy 29 players and just say, okay, let's go.
You mean human trafficking?
Human trafficking.
Yes, honestly.
So not all rebuilding has to be that way. So when we're talking about rebuild, when you say, oh, he has inability to rebuild, that's not a holistic way of looking at it. He's been trying to put in new parts while we're still moving. The issue, like Linger said, is now many of those players have gotten old together, and we've not spent enough to bring in younger ones who can replace them at the same time. One of the reasons is because of Klopp himself, because he's a bit loyal to some players.
Very loyal.
One of the reasons is because the owners don't put enough money for us to buy the players we need. So like this season, we wanted to buy Tchouameni before he went to Madrid. But of course, Tchouameni looked at Madrid and he looked at Liverpool and he was like, wow, Madrid, nice weather. White, the iconic white t-shirt, and he was gone. He just said, no, I'm not coming to Liverpool, and he went to Madrid. And then we took that money, instead of trying to look at, we went, okay, let's buy Nunes instead, because Mane is gone. So we're like having to choose between, do we want to invest in midfield or in forward area? Instead of having enough money to do both at once, we're having to choose. So that's why it's difficult to rebuild in that sense, because you're having to choose one area and say, okay, let's put that money here because we can't use it over there. So that's also an issue. And also rebuilding. Now, I was talking about assistant manager. Ferguson was very good for one thing. He never went too stale. After a while, he'll kick out his number two manager, bring in a new number two, keep things fresh, keep things, So when we're talking about Pep Linders, I don't really hate him. I don't hate him, but I disagree with that book he put out. Not because of tactics, because he didn't put any tactics in that book. But I've never heard of a number two in any club releasing a book while they're still employed at a club. Ayo, that is talking about these Linders. Give me an example of a number two manager anywhere who is releasing a book. So that shows maybe he's a bit full of himself. It's a bit of, look, even when in the video when he was giving the book to the players, it was cringeworthy. You guys, you're not Liverpool fans. Linger has seen that video. You're not Liverpool fans. He was going to all these players and forcing them to take the book. And then forcing them like
Liverpool players? Liverpool players?
Yeah, all the first team players. There's a video. I can send it to you afterwards. It was cringe.
Don't send it to him. They'll make fun of us. Don't send it.
All right. I got it.
Don't worry, I'll send it. So when we talk about number two, I'll round up now. Buzaza, I'll just round up. So when we're talking about the number two manager, it's not Linger's fault that we're crap. It's not his fault. But the top managers, they learn to let go of their number two. Like Ferguson did it. You have to keep a refresh. You have to hear new ideas, new voices. So if Klopp is going to rebuild, then I think he should also consider the fact that, okay, some of the coaching staff, in fact, all the backroom staff are gone. Linger, our sporting director is gone. The guy who is the guy who replaced him is going. All the backroom stuff, there's a lot of stuff happening in the background. That's like, what's happening here? This club is just in decline from top to bottom. So it's not just rebuilding on the field. We need to rebuild behind the scenes also. So that's why we're crap. That's why we're 10th.
I think your assistant coach.
We have areas for growth.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I mean, personally, I think it was interesting to listen to all of you talk about that, both of you. But it was very sweet to hear you complain.
Of course.
And there's also
I don't expect any better.
to spotlight one of the comments. I forgot who said it, but was like, Klopp just needs a large, technically gifted squad. That's just what it is. He's not going to play a different style, and his style can't work if you get older.
That's true.
That's
true. Go ahead. You have 30 seconds.
For Liverpool, no banter here. But what I think is you can repeat all you want. If the boardroom stuff and all that is not sorted out, you just
right.
Much. That's what I think.
No, you're right. You're right.
Because I know issues of talking of, like you guys said, the doctor, sporting director, and all that. So when there's stuff like that going wrong, it doesn't really matter. Like what set Liverpool apart was their decision making, their ability to buy special players at special times. Yeah. But when you start looking at the recent buys and the recent loans, then and I think that's the beginning of the decline. Like I never
absolutely
thought they would buy Gakpo. Like, what are you doing with that? You need a midfielder. What are you worrying about white player again? So little things like that. It's worse because
we're gonna start playing 7 in the front. Didn't you hear? It's a new style.
You cannot spend Man City and Chelsea, but if you are smarter than them, then you have a chance.
Stop laughing at me.
So you're not smarter right now, so you're struggling. Then that's probably until you get smarter again. Nothing's gonna happen.
No, you're right. You're right.
That's true. I think, like I said, Liverpool has spent some money. I said that before. Liverpool has spent some money, and we're gonna move on because if we let Liverpool fans talk about Liverpool, fans when they lament,
let me
have a lot on their heart.
Well, I need to leave in 5 minutes.
They want to pour it out.
Let's talk about City.
Let me just say one thing because Ola gave me smoke on the group. For saying Klopp needs to
you've got 15 seconds, Jola. And
it's almost pretty much what Ovi said. Look, there was clearly what Klopp has done is almost as bad as what Oli did at Manchester United. Like there's a clear need for midfielders. This man has bought Luis Diaz. This man has bought Indomie noodles. This man has bought Cody Gakpo, right? And the midfield problem still remains. Like I said, was a couple weeks ago. Look, all you need to do to get through Liverpool's midfield is be human and have football boots on. That's it. You just walk through. It is a 24-hour gas station. It is always open. So if
there was no midfield problem last season, we got
and that's exactly. It's not a recent problem. Again, that's why I'm like, what are you thinking? I mean,
there was no problem last season. This season, the problem was Mane left.
Okay.
Mane left.
Anyway,
so you have to buy Nunes. No. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're right to criticize him. You're right to criticize him because he has made some bad decisions. But saying you should be fired after a season where you said if he finishes third, he should still be fired. Come on.
Yeah, because Liverpool,
he finishes third.
Okay. We're gonna move on. I think talking about club being
let's talk about the criminals. The criminals.
Let's talk about. So we're gonna segue. Okay. There's a comment here which is brilliant. That comment actually segues into what we need to talk about here. It goes, it's all good. A Liverpool fan. I think that's on Nome. I don't think who.
No. That's. I don't know. Maybe that's.
I'm thinking because that's not on Nome. But it's all good. We're picking up 3 more championships from Man City. We're just taking it here off. So we're gonna segue into Man City, and I'm going to have to do this way because we're going to move quick. There's 2 parts of this. The charges against Man City. I don't want, if we all talk about it, we're going to be here all day. So I'm going to let Ovi talk about the first part of it, the charges against Man City. And then I'll let Jola talk about Pep's response, and then the rest of us can then chime in for about 30 seconds. So I'll let the 2 of you start. Ovi, please. Because we all know the charges.
Yeah, we all know the charges. We've had them before with UEFA. Premier League has grown a pair and put it out again. Let's to see if we can get them this time. So the issue is the charges. I mean, as a neutral, they make sense. They seem like it could be what is going on. Like some of the numbers they put out there, where you see that Man City has the highest revenue worldwide. It's questionable, but you can always, like I said, it is questionable. That's all it is, questionable. Until you provide proof, it's questionable. So the charges make sense as a layman. Just looking at it, it makes sense. But these guys have the best lawyers. These guys will fight it tooth and nail. They will. The coaches have been through this before. They will rally behind with the players, form a siege mentality like they're trying to do again, and keep winning on the pitch. And that will take away from everybody's focus.
Yep.
So the charges, until I don't know what the Premier League. I believe the Premier League feel they have something this time for them to come out boldly like that, or it could be in relation to the issues of independent regulator committee that have been being proposed for the Premier League, or that by the end of the day, the Premier League is biting his. I mean, Man City is part of the Premier League, so it's affecting his brand either way, and they're trying to make a big statement with this. Whichever way, everybody just wants the truth, and everybody just wants the best outcome, because at the end of the day, it's hurting the brand, and I think Premier League has gone on the limb to make these accusations on pretty much their most successful club in the last decade, and then they just have to back it up. So Man City will fight tooth and nail like they did before. Let's see how it goes this time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I think I need to add to what you just said, because before we move on to Pep's comments, there's two sides to this, which is, there's some jealousy. There is some jealousy, but there's also the fact that, most of us here are Africans. Sometimes what is called blatant corruption, where there's that guy.
Wait, who's not African? Confess.
I was like, all of us are African.
No, wait, I don't get any further. It's not African.
Well, some of us are Americans now, and British, and but you know what I mean. But
Yaya Toure has struck. We all know what that means. Africans in the chat. You know.
So, but the big guy on the street who everybody knows is corrupt, but because there's no evidence against him, we all know he's corrupt. But in the case of City, everybody knew something was going on. The weird deal with their own airline, their own owners, and all of that kind of stuff. Then the leaks happened. The Premier League could not ignore it. UEFA did their own investigation, and it could go to court. But the Premier League now had a loophole, which is, these guys can't take us to court. We have rules that say that it has to be in-house. So if we make a judgment in-house, we can handle it. And it seems that Premier League clubs have wanted to put a stem on it. And then with the Newcastle stuff happening, I think they wanted to make sure it doesn't happen again. That's how I feel. That's what I see from this move. Because, like you said, it's biting yourself in the tail. But it's also guys like the Aston Villas, even the Manchester United and the Arsenal, the Liverpool's going, if we let this perpetuate, we're never going to compete. We're going to be used, and we can't do anything about it. So let's strike now and cut it. That's what I think happened here. So I don't know what you guys think.
I mean,
I think you're right there, but like the issue with you can say that, but I mean, Man U has been the most decorated club for the longest period. Like they had a 15-20 year period where Man U was. But they couldn't charge them with something like this. So the issue is, we know that there's a suspicion that something is going wrong, and they probably have some information, leaked emails and stuff. And the idea with the Premier League is that, there's no time barring some of these things. It's not like the UEFA where you have 5 years and anything. But at the end of the day, you still have to prove it, right? Because even if you provide, yes, they don't have the CAS court of arbitration to go to appeal, but whatever the decision is, they will still appeal. They will just form a new panel to review the documents at the end of the day. So you have to prove, let it be as clear as possible that these guys have been cheated for them to be punished. If not, it should just look like you said, jealousy. So that's the issue, because you have to prove to everybody that these guys are really cheating. You talked on companies from Middle East and sponsoring them and all that. That's obviously clear. The accusations are some of these companies don't have offices, don't have products, don't have services, hardly have any staff, but they're sponsoring Man City 50 million euros every year. It doesn't make sense.
They operate out of a PO box.
Yes, so
I mean, like this is the Ozarks now, right? It's like the Ozarks now, you know?
Yeah. So why are you doing that, or how are you? I mean, there's no. It's not like if you tell me the airline is sponsoring me, I know what they're doing. They're flying planes. But when they call the companies that sponsor them, we don't even know the companies. So how are you bringing money to give this if you don't know what you're doing? So stuff like that. They had a crypto company that was sponsoring them. That they said, I mean, so a lot of issues like that will just raise red flags. But the issue is you still have to prove it. And and I think what will be challenging for the Premier League is it's not going to be on City's records. What you have to go beyond to say this company, what are they doing? And you have to prove that they're not really doing anything. So that's beyond City's record, because City's record only shows you how much is coming from the company. It doesn't say, this company, this is what they're doing, or this is not what they're doing. That's not their business. So that's why it will be challenging. It probably take, I'm guessing, 1.5, 2 years at least.
At least 2 years.
And then stuff like that. So it's the red flags are there, but you have to connect the dots, and that's the hard part.
Wait, let me jump in because I have to go.
Okay,
Let me just say one thing. First of all, I have to go, everybody, but I'll jump in the comments because they are going wild today, so I'll join the comments. But I think my only doubt here is that the Prem can actually get their ish together and prove it. Because to prove it, all you have to do is just open your eyes and see, City reporting bigger revenue than a Real Madrid, Liverpool, and Manchester United. They have 20 fans and 500 stand-in actors or whatever, but come on,
and 50,000
if you just open your eyes a little bit, it's been so blatant. So the charges happened, and I was like, oh great, I guess their chickens are coming home to roost. But I just feel like they're gonna get away with it because they've already been found guilty of this.
Yes.
But they managed to appeal it. They're already banned from European competition. That was so huge, but nothing happened. They're still here. And, people laugh about how, Liverpool should have gotten those trophies or whatever. That's not necessarily what I'm concerned about. I think that, my team lost to another team. But what does feel unfair is, but were all those players was everything supposed to happen the way it was for those players to be there? And that's where I'm it's not I think you just give us the league, just void it if we're going to do anything. But, but I think the feeling of it's unfairness for me and not jealousy necessarily. Because I believe that we got beaten by the City team multiple times. That's fine, but was everything supposed to happen the way it did, legally for the Prem? But anyways, my long story short is that they're not going to do anything. Nothing's going to happen.
Okay.
Honestly.
Quickly,
and on that note, see you later.
Before we move it, before you leave, Linga, thanks to see you again. Okay, she had to go. She has an appointment in an hour, or actually in 10 minutes, so she had to go. To round this up, there's something actually.
I've not said anything, Zaza.
No, you will come in. You will come in the second part, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let two of you take the second part. There's something very important we missed here, which is that actually City has to prove their innocence. In this actual case, there's very strong evidence against City. The leaked emails, the reason why City were not proven innocent with the UEFA case. They got away on a technicality, which was one, it was time-barred, and two, they said that they refused to cooperate.
Yes.
So now the problem they have is that they have to now open the emails that were leaked. They have to now open all the emails. Let technical people go in and go on the ground to pull up all the deleted emails and read all that stuff, which they might not want to do, because if they open it, there might be other stuff in there that they don't want people to see. So that's the problem City has. That's why they're mad. If you look at the reaction, they're going, other clubs are plotting against you. If you're innocent, you won't say people are plotting against you. You will literally say, I am innocent. You won't start going, why are they accusing me? Because you've been accused of this before. It's not like people are pulling, a man whose ex-wife dies in his house, suddenly saying people are plotting against me. Dude, the woman died in your house. Give us your alibi. Stop telling us that your alibi is that people were plotting against you. So now, the thing about it is Pep's response, which is what I want you to come in, but I'll start with Jola, then go to you, Ola. Pep's response, I don't know if it has Jedi mind tricks and mind games as part of title chase, but what do you guys think about that? Because I thought that was weird.
Yeah. Pep's response is very, very weird. But what else is he supposed to do?
Exactly.
Is my question. Because
For me,
I don't think coaches and managers have always been put in this very precarious situation where they have to answer for the sins of the club, right? Sheikh Mansour will never be in front of Sky Sports answering questions. Never. Khalid Al Mamoun or whatever the chief executive, they're not doing that. So who's the errand dog who's going to go out there and defend City in the media? It has to be Pep. And I know that in 2020, he did say something about, if my people lie to me, I'm out of the door, blah, 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 blah. He had to say that. And at some point, us fans, we need to understand what is institutional speech from what is a coach himself talking, right? When Pep came out and said, I'm going to be out if they lie to me, that's institutional speech. Just like how Ten Hag came out and said, Ronaldo is in my plans. Or I value Maguire. He's a good part of the team. That's institutional. All that is institutional speech. So the way he said it, the way he was so defensive and abrasive about the whole thing, we know how Pep, he's a very passionate guy. So the mode of delivery was kind of weird, but I don't blame him. Now, what that is going to do is that's going to create a siege mentality. I think they're winning the league now. Because now it is, in their head is the world against us, right? And we are going to push this like as far as we can push it. And we're dealing with with an Arsenal team that is, they're strong, but they're not experienced. They're not mentally strong like the Liverpool team we used to go toe to toe against. So all they got to do is go 1 point past Arsenal on the league table, and the league is theirs, right? So that's going to create a siege mentality. Now, in terms of the content of what he said, he did say, it has to be proven and all that. Yes, it does have to be proven. Yes, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure the structural setup of the internal entity that will hear this matter, but usually the burden of proof is on the person who's alleging illegal action, right? So the Premier League still has to prove it, of course. Will they be successful in proving it sufficiently enough for Manchester City to get any kind of meaningful punishment? I doubt it. But the fact is, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's been smoke multiple times at Manchester City. The fact that we don't really find the fire does not mean that it's not
there's
there.
No burnt carcass around,
Exactly. Yeah. So the whole world knows that Islam went right over there, and I think that in itself is enough to at least create some kind of effect that the Premier League desires, which is put Newcastle on notice and put Todd Bowley on notice, and also put Manchester City itself on notice that, look, we're taking this seriously. What people are talking about, I don't think they're going to suffer as much punishment. I don't think they deserve to suffer as much punishment as people are saying. This is why. At the end of the day, this does not rise to the level of the Calciopoli scandal. I don't think so. They're not bribing refs. They're not match fixing. They're not selling games and stuff like that. At the end of the day, they had to train these players. At the end of the day, they had to play these games fairly, right? So Pep still had to coach these guys. So are they going to get stripped of their medals? Well, if they do, it's not going to go to any other team. They're just going to be null. Maybe get docked points. Maybe, I don't think they're going to get thrown into the lower division. I don't think so. But maybe they'll get a transfer ban like Chelsea did. I think that's probably what's going to happen. And that's it. Nothing more.
Okay. Yeah. Now, there's a comment I keep coming back to. I actually kept pulling up this comment because I believe you can you can, because I don't want us to keep repeating, because I think we've basically all said similar things. But this is a comment that I want you to tackle, because you actually might have a great, I believe you have a great perspective on this response, on your response to this comment.
This one on the screen.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I think maybe we'll be just reading out some of these comments. So this comment says, I mean, for the podcast listeners, this comment says, I think it's mainly jealousy. Why is Chelsea, Newcastle investment different? Everyone is seeking for Arab sponsors while punishing a club with Arab sponsors. That's the comment. And I've seen that comment flashing. So that's how you're right. And I'll back up quickly about something in response to this, something Oga Kwame said. Like for me, I've been calling them Lance Armstrong FC for a long time because they're financial, they've been financially doping for a long time. And so this is not coming from a place of beef. It's a place of coming up from a place of I don't think there's been a fair assessment of the way things have worked. Now, this is in relation to this question, this comment, this person saying about jealousy. I don't think, for me, I'm downplaying this jealousy part because, for example, UEFA itself have caught other clubs falling foul of financial fair play. City is not the only club that have been found guilty. Go and check. There's other clubs that have been found guilty of financial fair play. Some of them have been fined. Some of them, I think, maybe one or two are even barred from competing in European competitions. That's in Europe. Even in England, look at Derby County, for example, where Rooney was manager. They got caught for financial irregularities too, and they got dot points, and eventually they got relegated because Rooney did a great job almost getting them out. It wasn't -15 or something. So let's pack this thing that they're victimizing Rooney City. There are clubs, even apart from Derby County, there are clubs getting investigated and caught even in England. So this is not just it's because they have Arab sponsors. No, this is because it's not just cheating; they're engaging in corrupt practices.
That's
so
right.
we are focusing on sponsorship. They're inflating sponsorship, but they are paying people off the books. Mancini, they were paying him a separate salary which they were not declaring. That's corruption. That's not just
fraud.
That's fraud. That's fraud.
Yeah,
so this is not just we're inflating sponsorship. Oh no. They're actually committing fraud. Well, allegedly. But these are things that even UEFA had the evidence. But like you guys rightly said, they got off on the technicality that it was time barred for 5 years. So UEFA couldn't push ahead and actually punish them the way they should have been punished. And eventually they still paid a fine. They paid a fine to UEFA so it's not like you're totally, that shows they're not even innocent. Because if you're innocent, why would you be paying a fine? So they still paid a fine anyway. So I don't think it's jealousy. I don't think this is about people are jealous and they wanted to bring them down. These people have just gone, City have gone over and far and over beyond what they should even be trying to do. Like, it's been so clear what they've been doing. And if you see some of the content of those emails, even the arrogance in their emails, like well, what can people do? You should read some of those emails. They were like, it was so blatant. They were like, they can't do anything. And that's because they have belief in this. They are fantastic lawyers. In fact, they had the banner of one of their lawyers in the stadium today. City that they put his name, Panic. They wrote Panic on the streets of London, and they put his picture on this big, massive banner because that's what they believe in. They believe like we'll break the rules, but we have the lawyers that will get us out of it. That's what they believe. So when people are now saying that it's because we are jealous, no, it's because people just feel they will do it and get away with it, which they most likely would, because at the end of the day, this might drag on so long, and eventually maybe they just come to a settlement and say, okay, we'll pay 250 million fine or whatever, and maybe they'll dock them points. But then I don't think they'll take any trophies off them. I don't think it will go that far. I just think at the end of the day, when they stop their arrogant behavior, because that's what they are displaying, even up to now, the Premier League has even did that same thing that UEFA did, because Premier League said bring evidence from 2018 onwards, and Man City just stopped cooperating. They just said no, we're not giving you any records from 2018. And imagine the arrogance. They're telling you, okay, supply us this record so we can invest. They said no, we're not, do your worst. We're not doing that. They say Spliff said Lord Panic. Yeah, there was a big banner of a lawyer. That shows you the arrogance of these people. They are putting banners of a lawyer and they're celebrating their lawyer in the stadium. That our lawyer is going to get us off. They're not saying we are innocent though. They're saying we know we are guilty, but we are going to get off because we have expensive lawyers. That's what they're boasting about. So based on so quickly, just to finalize what I'm saying, I won't blame Pep. I won't blame Pep at all for what he did, because if Klopp was in the same situation, he would do the same thing. He will back his owners. I'm sure. So I won't blame Pep, because Pep, he has no choice. He has to come out and defend. And that's Ayo said something in the comments that's why sports washing works. because it's the coach that will have to go and face the media and defend the club. The sheiks who are doing the actual corruption are in their castles and mansions chilling out, but the coach has to go and face camera. And Antonio Conte said this like maybe last season or early this season. He said in Italy, that's why in England it's different. In Italy, they have the sporting directors and all those. They come to the camera and defend their clubs. It's not up to the coach to be defending his club. But in England, they don't do that. In England, they send the manager. Manager go and face the camera and answer all the weird, tough questions. So I don't blame Pep. I don't blame Pep. It's not fair that he has to be the one answering it, but that's the way it is. So I don't blame him for his response. I expected he's going to stand out and say, yeah, no, he's not going to say we are guilty. He's not going to say we are guilty. Of course not. It's not. Yeah, he's not going to say that.
Okay. Thank you, guys. There's a lot we can say. There's a lot to say on this topic, but it's something we're going to keep coming back to because I don't think it's going to finish today. Nah. We have a lot to cover, and we've done almost 51 minutes. The Arsenal fan has been a spectator for 51 minutes. I mean, that's a guy whose team is topping the table. So
of course,
so
they're going they already have one hand on the trophy.
Well, it's looking like a finger now, but well, you know. So we have to talk about Arsenal, Brentford. So just to go forward, because I'm trying to keep this at most 1 hour 15 minutes. I try my best to keep it. So we have about 25 minutes left. So I'm going to talk about we're going to tell you guys what we have to talk about. We're going to quickly talk about Arsenal, Brentford. Most of that will be you, Ovi. We're going to talk about Manchester United, Leeds. Most of that will be you. Toppling off the table. These comments are
wild today, man. Really wild. You should be reading more of these comments. Please read these comments out.
It's like toppling off the table. Oh my god.
That is
so like we're gonna go. Let's jump straight into Arsenal Brentford because these guys are not even letting me get it. Talk about what we want to do for the rest of the show because I gotta laugh, man. Ovi, that was Linger.
Oh, it was Linger.
That was Linger.
That was Linger.
Yeah. And then of course, Ovi, you're gonna talk about Arsenal Brentford because that's why you're gonna take. I'm gonna give you up to 5 minutes to talk about this because this next comment says that Wednesday game will be hard. And that's true. Toppling up the table, that Wednesday game will be hard because dude. Arsenal Brentford is looking behind, but now we have to look forward to Wednesday too. So the City is up next, and we know City have a fire has been lit up their ass. So please, bros, the table is yours.
I mean, so Arsenal, Brentford. I mean, Brentford were coming to the game in form, 9 games unbeaten. I believe not lost a game since October. Everybody wanted to see Arsenal react to a loss. We did well the last time against Man U. We went on a good winning streak, and they're trying to see if we're going to do the same thing after losing to Everton the week before. For me, I thought the Everton game showed that a lot of teams are. I mean, you have to pay attention. A lot of teams are paying attention to Arsenal, and they are assessing what Arsenal is doing. So I felt like a couple of changes would have been needed for that game. But I understand Mikel Arteta playing the same lineup because he probably thought, I don't want to send the message of we are already looking towards the City game. I want to play my strongest lineup. Let's go. So I felt, for example, Martinelli has been a little bit off. Trossard is playing well, but why didn't you start him? Ben White was a little shaky the last 2 games. Start Tomiyasu is better aerially. Brentford are going to go aerial. Just the way they saw against Everton and against Newcastle. So that was for me the 2 I was thinking about. But when I saw the same lineup, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I think the key thing for me is, but when I see the team, when I look back at the last couple of games, Everton and then Brentford, is that we are not playing as well as we're playing. We are conceding too many chances, and that's it. So, previously when we lost to Man U, I came out of that game thinking we're the better team, but we lost. But when we lost to Brentford, I was like, Brentford did not deserve to lose this game. Even though I knew it was a VAR error, they matched us pound for pound, and that's the issue. The issue was Arsenal previously were going into games, and most games, obviously looking like the better team, and we're winning the games. But when you now start leaving games to fine lines, or you just want to nick a goal, and then that's where things like VAR will come in and affect you. So that's the first problem. We're conceding too many chances, and it's already showing that the teams are figuring us out. Maybe we're unlucky. Maybe we're playing teams that are going to play this stuff for the next two, Everton and Brentford. Maybe we're going to start playing teams like Leicester and Aston Villa, and maybe we'll have better luck. But the issue is, I feel like teams are watching us. You're on top, so you have to act like you're on top. People are watching you. They're spending hours watching your videos, and so everything you're doing, and the same thing Everton did. The Brentford coach came out and said, we doubled up on their wingers because we know that that's where they are most dangerous from. So I think that's one thing. So I think for me, my only concern is that we're not playing as well as we're playing. But all that can change. You beat Man City and everything is back to where we are. The issue is if you lose to Man City, that's where there's problem. As far as you don't lose to Man City, fine. You had a bad 3-4 difficult games, come out, you move on. It will happen for everything. Man City is not going to win every game from that end of the season. It's not going to happen. So all you can do is do not lose to Man City. So the Brentford game, like I said, yes, a VAR made an error, but the issue is I didn't leave that game thinking we were the better team, we should have won. And that's the thing. And the same thing I used to point out with Tottenham. You can't keep conceding 2 goals and coming back every game. It's not possible. Sooner or later, it will catch up with you. So Arsenal, you cannot keep playing marginally with teams and expect to win all the games. You want to win games, 8, 9 of those games out of 10, be the better team. Maybe you can sneak 1 or 2 wins every now and then, but you have to be the better team first. And I think that's the first issue. So that's where my own concern is coming from. We are not looking as strong as we were looking before. And until you rectify that, I feel a lot of it has to do with the Man City FA Cup game. Do not lose momentum. I felt like changes were watching that game. You didn't need to do it. Pep played the strongest lineup at that time while you resting players. So it's stuff like that. I feel like it all plays in. And don't forget, we have a very young team. These guys have not been here before. Only a couple of them have been here before. Most of the players they're just going as they go. So stuff like that. I feel like that's my concern is you've lost momentum going into the biggest game, and now you're not playing as well as you were playing before. So that's the concern. What to rectify it? Beat Man City. Let's move. Once you beat Man City, everybody's back. So if you even a draw still keeps you as 3 points ahead with the game in hand. That's still fine. Do not lose that game. If you lose that game, then that's when you will know what pressure is. So that's what I would say. That's what pressure will be there.
Sorry, these comments are wow. Sorry, Obi. Some of these comments are
Those comments are just
Zaza,
like.
put that comment back up. Zaza, please put that comment back up.
Please.
If Arsenal don't win the league, I'll be backdating Yabs. Grandparents of some Arsenal fans are getting into sins of the grandkids.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal fans, we are loud, we are brash, we are out there.
Oh my God. The pressure will be getting worse. Oh my God. See, look, there's a reason why I can't read all the comments because I think we've got 100 comments in, and if we start reading comments, that's all we'll be doing all day. But because these comments are wild, so I apologize to anybody who will listen to this on the podcast audio. But there was just so many comments, and the comments today were out of like you gotta come watch it on YouTube. You gotta come and put it on YouTube.
These comments
and
are
check
wild
this out because these comments are wild. We put them all up, but there's even some comments that I've saved for the future, for the next topic. Like people have been, oh my God. And then of course, Ovi, someone said this while you were saying, okay, let me take this other funny one. It says, Arsenal, Liverpool are ready to welcome. LFC ready to welcome Arsenal to the pain zone of losing the league by 1 point.
Oh wow! Please, the bad memories, man. This is trauma, God. PTSD. Please, I don't want to think about it.
Ovi, if I don't win,
I feel for Liverpool because I mean this Man City, they're just crazy people.
Twice we lost the league to them 1 point.
Yeah, I know. I feel for them, and that's why when people say stuff like, "Oh, it really matters," they just inflated their what they call it, their sponsorship deals. It matters because if that situation does not affect you buying one player, doesn't affect you buying a Yaya Toure, a Zinchenko, a somebody.
Haaland.
Then
Aguero.
Hey, I was wondering. I think that you guys even saying like, "Oh, you lost it." Like we lost it by goal difference after after the season ended.
Exactly.
Like,
Yours
the
is
game had
even worse.
finished.
Yours is even worse. Man United one is even worse.
We had already won the league. We're now waiting.
Yeah.
And then they now won it.
You can imagine. So that's why all those kind of moments. That's why I say, at the end of the day, for me, if you find them guilty of 70-80% of the charges, the minimum should be relegation. Anything other than that, you are not even serious.
Start from the bottom. Start from the bottom.
Go on and build up again. Let's see. That's what any point deduction, that's a waste of time. You have to relegate them. They've affected so many things. They've affected league tables for many years. They've affected top Arsenal. The first time Arsenal missed out of top 4, I think City passed up with like a couple of points.
Somebody said, "Why does the championship have to take them?"
Exactly.
They didn't do anything to deserve it.
Like League Two.
And you cannot, unless they find them not guilty. If you find them guilty, you have to relegate them. That's the only way.
If they find them not guilty, the Premier League means what? The Premier League doesn't have credibility.
Still fine. But what? If you find them not guilty, whatever it is.
That was all.
I think is he hanging?
Yeah.
So if they find them not guilty, fine. But if they find them guilty, you cannot fine. Even if you are giving fine, you must still relegate on top. You
still be down the para.
You must be down the para.
Don't be vexing. Send them down. Send them down. Lock them up.
Then there's no use. So there's no all of this. Just
Zaza, let me see if Zaza, can you jump out and jump back in? Let me see if I can remove him and get him.
In the meantime, Oga Kwame, you can be talking about Man U leads. Maybe you can move to the next topic and talk about
So United leads. Look, that was an example of United leads today was an example. First of all, this is part 2. What happened today is part 2. Right.
Second
leg. The series started on Wednesday. And listen, the way Leeds put it on us, I was scared because these guys, it's a rivalry. Oh, Zaza, go ahead.
Dude, you guys
it's a rivalry.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
It's still hanging.
We started. But please, my bad. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I was talking about United Leeds, the series, pretty much. And it's just a reflection of the fatigue that we knew was going to catch up to the Manchester United squad. Erik ten Hag, this man deserves, all the flowers that he's getting. Starting from the day he stepped foot in England. The journalists first said, he doesn't know how to speak English. We don't like him, right? And then it went to, he's rude. Right. He doesn't smile. He's not friendly to the journalists. Right. And then it went to, he had a poor start and immediately took out Maguire from the team. A whole Manchester United captain, they didn't like that. Then it went to, we don't like how he's treating Ronaldo. Right. Then you combine that with him barely being supported financially by the club, the same way they back a useless coach. Right. Then having to deal with injuries, still in all 4 competitions. So I think today's win was clearly down to Ten Hag. The game did not change until he made the changes. When he brought in Lisandro Martinez and he brought in, who else did he bring in with Lisandro Martinez? Can somebody remind me?
What?
Zaza, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Do you know who
Lisandro Martinez came in? Lisandro Martinez came in. Martinez and Garnacho.
Martinez and
Garnacho came in. Yes.
And I was like, what is this man doing? It's Virgos that clearly needs to come off. Not Martinez. It's Maguire that was giving us problems, right? But the man knew what he was doing. Drop Virgos to the 10, put Rashford in front, put Rashford in front, and put faith in Garnacho. This man, like I said, again after Manchester City, he's turning water into wine. And I'm very scared for the amount of games we have been playing and that we will continue to play. Leeds United, they clearly had something to prove. It's like that. It's like that little brother, right? That knows he can't beat the big brother, but then he's just, trying to. So I mean, we took care of them, but it wasn't easy at all, and it's very worrying. I'm glad Casemiro is going to come back for the Barcelona game, and that the only game we have to miss him for is that Leicester City game, and he's going to be back for the cup final too. That shows us clearly that what Casemiro brings to this team is invaluable.
World class.
I mean, it is world class for anybody, any journalist in the beginning who doubted Casemiro and Lisandro Martinez, because again, Lisandro Martinez, when he came today, passing out from that back, we saw that initial pass to Sabitzer, it came from Licha Martinez. So all the journalists, the man like Roy Keane, man like Jamie Carragher, they can shove it. So yeah,
I'm gonna come in here and say tactically, I have to point out that there were some good things about keeping Weghorst, and those changes were great, but I also don't want to put too much blame on the back four that started the game, because no set of defenders want to start a game or play a game by passing the ball amongst themselves, inviting pressure. And Sabitzer and Fred are not press resistant. They're not going to come deep and take that ball, because all they're going to do is take that ball and give it back to you. And then you got to do what? Play it long. The problem that was happening was that the four above them, Rashford, Sancho, Bruno, and Weghorst, were not having enough movement coming into the hole between the two lines of four, the back four and the midfield four that Leeds were playing. They were not coming into that space there to pick up balls. They were all trying to get long balls over the top because they felt they could run. And what this was just creating was Maguire and Shaw had to keep launching balls, because what Leeds did was they just kept a bank of 6 players around the midfield, and then their back four set. So any ball you launch wasn't getting through. But once Weghorst came in, once Weghorst was dropped into 10, Weghorst just dropped into that space. And then it also now gave Martinez and Maguire space to drop balls. And then, of course, moving Shaw to the left gave him, Shaw, of course, is more progressive than Malasha. He could now drive with the ball. So once you could, if you notice, there was something that started happening was, instead of getting balls to Weghorst's head, they were getting balls to his chest. Yes. And then he could not bring the ball down. And what this simply did was, one of the Leeds defenders had to come out to him. He now created space behind. So Garnacho now has space to run. Rashford now has space. The first goal, the defender that was marking Rashford, when he saw Weghorst run into the box, he shifted from him slightly because he saw Weghorst, and Rashford had the space to head the ball. Same thing with when Weghorst turned and passed the true pass to Garnacho. So sometimes, before that, you could see Manchester United fans go, "Why is this guy like?" That's why sometimes I don't like to judge a game from the TV. You have to let these guys who have been cooking cook. You let them cook. That's what they do for a living. You're just an armchair pundit. With all due respect to all of us, we all know ball. Yeah. But compared to these guys are professionals. They know what they do. Especially a guy who has earned his chops like what's his name? Ten Hag. I mean, Potter hasn't earned his chops yet at Chelsea, because like Chelsea fans will say his subs don't ever work. But Klopp, the Peps, they know what they're doing when they're making these subs. So I like that. But to be very fair to Leeds, they also played with too much energy. They tired. At the end of the game, they were burnt out.
Especially those two American tanks. Those two American tanks in the middle.
They were burnt out.
My goodness.
All right.
Yeah, that's true. I actually told Spliff Veron this when the game started. I said this was initial grad that Leeds would tire out and they will start letting goals in, and that's what happened. Oh God, people should let Arsenal fans be. Said Arsenal fans were talking Trickrell.
No, I know who he's talking about. He's talking about EJ.
EJ.
He's talking about EJ.
Well, to be very fair, right? To be very fair, an Arsenal fan is not going to pick Saka. He's not going to pick Rashford over Saka.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Saka was a Manchester United player, he's starting all the time. I don't like this player comparison thing. I don't like to do it. One of the things why I don't like to do, especially for players that play off different wings, is these are two kings, man. As far as I'm concerned, these are two kings. Saka is a king. A kid that young, playing at the level he's playing is great. Rashford, for what he's been through in his career, to bounce back and come back like this is great.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are going to be great.
That's not good for content, Zaza. We have to always fight. We have to have debate. It's not good for content if you are saying the logical, sensible thing. If you are saying the sensible thing, that's not good for this pod. It's not good for this kind of podcast. We need to fight.
You know, some of us just like smoke.
We like violence. Violence.
We don't like violence.
I'm saving my violence for Arsenal fans and Liverpool fans. But Saka is my boy. I love Saka. You know, I just love him. He's the only Arsenal player I love. The rest of the Arsenal players can be thrown out on the door.
I mean, I don't love it.
People say someone said Chelsea caught chops treble. But look, Chelsea fans, oh god, everybody in my soccer team, my local soccer team, they're Chelsea fans, and they still can't shut up. You are 11th. You are 11th on the table. When Manchester United were drawing today, they still crept out. Like, dude, I would be hiding under my blanket in the closet with the lights off. I won't be watching TV. I won't make any comments. I would just be praying for next season. And these guys can still talk. Like, even go ahead, Ovi.
No, I said they're transfer window champions.
Transfer window champions.
They said Todd Bowley thought that Chelsea automatically qualify for the Champions League every year.
Wow.
So I think the Todd Bowley virus has infected the Chelsea fans.
She got some flick.
Ola,
spending her money.
I'm gonna move on quickly.
Cool.
I want you. This will be strictly you, and anybody who's gonna talk is just gonna make a quick comment. Just a quick comment. This is where you're very good. I want to go back to you there. Then before we go there, I want you guys to think about this. Everybody, the Champions League games, Milan, Tottenham, PSG, Bayern, and of course, Dortmund, Chelsea, Brugges, and Benfica. I want you guys to think about your predictions, and then we do that because we're running out of time. We've had a very long podcast. It's been very, very fun. I wish we could have gone on, but you know, time is the master of all of us. So please, Ola, tell us your quick thoughts on the new Super League format, the zombie that doesn't want to die.
The zombie that doesn't want to die. Well, many of us saw this coming. These people are going to come back. This new format is still, they say it's fronted by A22, the company from the previous. The funny thing is the clubs that are still pushing this, Juventus, Barcelona, Madrid, you can evidently see that these guys are doing it for their own good. They keep claiming it's for the good of football, but they can't fool us. Look at Juventus. Obviously, they've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar again, minus 15 points. And these people are financial crisis. They're fearing being left behind. Basically, it's fear. They're fearing being left behind by the English clubs. Like the English clubs now have the Super League in quotes, which is the Premier League. So these guys, that's why they want a level playing field. So that's why they're still pushing for it. So at the moment, Barcelona have to look at all their financial irregularities, pulling financial levers up and down. Because they knew that, okay, look, we can't generate enough revenue to keep up with these guys. Madrid, Perez, of course. Perez always want something where he can make a quick buck. So they're still pushing ahead for it. So that's why we are not surprised that they're coming back again. But what they're doing now is now they're coming with this format different from the last time. Because the last time the fans kicked so much against it because they were like, oh, it will be 15 guaranteed teams, no relegation, no promotion, nothing like that. And fans don't like that. You know, when you change that format where you are removing the competitive edge, you're just saying the same clubs will be qualifying every season, regardless of what they do. People don't like that. So they've removed that now. They're now saying, okay, we're going to do this 4 division tier system where okay, maybe people can get relegated, promoted. There's no guarantee spots. So they're tweaking it. They're making it more palatable. You know, before they came in with no salt, no pepper. Now they're sprinkling some salt and pepper. They're trying to make it like, oh, look, this is tasty now. You guys can maybe have a bite of this. But the bottom line at the end of the day, guys, is still, it's a money grab. It's still, don't be fooled by them saying this is for the good of the sport. They're not fixing anything. It's not like UEFA are clean either. UEFA, they're not clean either, but at least UEFA, they channel a good chunk of that money they make to the grassroots. They channel it to the football associations for the smaller countries. So these new guys that are coming in and saying, oh, we're going to do the same thing. Don't believe them, man. I think they're not going to do the same thing. This is not for the good of the sport. The format they're now putting forward also says you'll be guaranteed 14 games every season. 14 games. At the moment, I think the new Champions League format is something going to be similar. I think it's the same number of games. So it's not like the games are going to be like so many. But what they are trying to do is basically they want to get rid of the Champions League. They're saying you can still play your league. Oh, yeah, you can still play in your league, but they want to get rid of Champions League. And that's that comment from Spliff that says Super League won't fly without EPL teams. That's the biggest issue. Because at the moment, the big six that were supposed to join the last time, they are still not going to join at this moment. They don't want to join this new version.
It's illegal for them to join.
So far,
it's illegal.
It's illegal for them to join.
Yeah,
so
it's illegal. The British government made it illegal.
Exactly. And even I know they're still in court, and I know Oga Kwame will probably have more knowledge about it. But there was an injunction that was taken out, and also they told them that UEFA does have a right to restrict. Like, I mean, this is not an overall ruling. There's still going to be a final ruling, but I think they'll call it maybe the pre-ruling or something. They had like the UEFA won a minor battle in the courts like late last year, where it says that, oh yeah, you guys have a right to regulate and to stop another competition from being created, so to speak. But the final major decision is going to be taken, I think, later this year. And the indication is like the Super League will most likely lose, but they still want to push ahead. This is like they'll most likely lose their case, but they still want to push ahead because they believe that UEFA is creating a monopoly, and that monopoly is against the interest of the sport. So that's what they're. So basically,
and it's probably not too far-fetched to say that the timing of A22's I guess statement or whatever format this new format they release is in anticipation of that UEFA decision. So they want to win. They want to win some kind of favor in the court of public opinion.
Thank you.
Before the legal decision comes out.
Yeah. So they timed it. And some people are even linking, they're linking the fact that look, because the English clubs are not joining. So they're now trying to see what they're selling now. Look, I was reading an article on that. See what they're selling to the smaller countries. They'll be like, look, you're a Belgian champion. Let's say, for example, Anderlecht. They'll not say, look, Anderlecht, you're a Belgian champion. But look, Bournemouth in England can pay more wages and take your best players off you. So better join us in the Super League because you are getting left behind. Right. That's how they are selling it to the smaller countries. They're going to Belgium, to Finland. They'll say, look, you guys are champions of Finland, but the team in championship in England can afford to pay double the wages and take your best players. So they're selling it in that way that it's us against England. England is now the Super League that they're trying to break. The Premier League is the Super League they're trying to break. So that's the way they are selling it. Like Oga said, they're trying to win that war in the public opinion. That, okay, let's win this. Let's win the public opinion over to us so that when we now lose the case in court and we still go ahead, people will now start supporting us. So that's my thoughts on it. I think it will still come. I think it will still go ahead in some form, but they are making it more palatable now, like compared to the first time where everybody just said no. Straight away, people like majority of like 90% just said no, we don't want it. Now they're trying to tweak it, win favor from the smaller countries. Let the fans say, okay, there's relegation, there's promotion now. So they're trying to tweak it, and I think they might probably succeed, but we'll see how it goes.
Just to add to that, which is why I know Liverpool and Manchester United are in the middle of ownership, like a change in ownership, which is why it's important who the new owners of these clubs are. Because Liverpool and Manchester United are giants. Say that again. Oh, is that how you? Oh, sorry. That's Liverpool and Manchester United are two giants of English football. If the two new owners for those two clubs decide, we like the Super League, it's not going to take long to convince Arsenal, to convince Tottenham and Chelsea. So even though we're in the middle of this change in ownership, we need to make sure that whoever this new owner is, remember what
the government has made it illegal.
Yeah,
Boris Johnson made it illegal. Unless the law is changed, they cannot join it.
It's look, it doesn't take long to curry favors with government. So it doesn't take long.
Let me tell you one thing I know about if there's one country, right, you can curry favor with government, but you got to do it on the hand, and that is England. America, you can do it more blatantly. In England, where the guy has to come and win an election in one small 10 square feet, 10 square mile constituency. If people start protesting, you have to get every MP has to change. You know what I mean? And those MPs are not going to change it.
See, football and politics will always be linked.
Yeah,
this Premier League investigation into City. If you read some of the theories, the timing of their release of this saying last week, because the UK government were about to release. They're about to they want to release like a regulator for Premier League. They want Premier League at the moment self-regulates.
Yeah.
Premier League self-regulates. But the UK government has started putting their face there, like, you guys, there's a lot of shady stuff going on. So they want to put an independent regulator on the Premier League. They're about to push this through in the Parliament and all that. And Premier League, this is the theory, quickly release this Man City allegation stuff to say that, okay, look, we're actually good at investigating ourselves. Please, you guys, because Premier League, they don't want to hand over control. They don't want to hand over control to an independent regulator. They want to keep regulating themselves. So they quickly, because they've been investigating City for 4 years and they didn't say anything until just last week when the government was about to release their own report on regulating the football. So politics, like Zaza said, all these things is underground. It's all political, all maneuvers on the ground. That, okay, you guys will look, we're actually investigating ourselves. Please don't put any laws that will inhibit, our profit making. So all this, if you read, it can be fun to read all this stuff. Like, it's just a bit fascinating how all these things play out. It's not just football. Football and politics will always mix. That's just it. We can't get away from that.
All right, guys. Okay, go ahead.
The idea of the Super League is not a novel idea. I mean, the Premier League, like you guys said, is Super League. It's 20 clubs that own. Once you're in Premier League, you're part of the ownership. So Barcelona and Juventus, they want something similar in Europe where they can share everything and go out there, source for external TV rights and all kinds of things like that. And they can the ones to share and get the majority of the money coming in. The issue with it is if the Premier League are not on board, then they will lose some marketability there, for one. Yeah. And then for two, these clubs continue to make stupid decisions. I mean, Barcelona, they say, they don't have that money, they operate all kind of levers. But surely, when you look at their squad, do you need Dembele, Rafinha, Fati, Gavi, all of them? They don't play
Lewandowski.
They play Aubameyang before. How many of them are playing? So when you look at it from that angle, like, they just feel like they don't have to buy, they just have to keep buying. Madrid have to buy a super player every year. But you don't have to. Barcelona should just say, you know what, this season, things are rough. Instead of having 5 wingers or 6 wingers, let's have 4. Next season, the money, the 100 million we save from not buying 2 players, we can use it to channel and save some of that. But they don't want to think that. They just want to keep spending to buy everybody, and they now want new money to come in. So they're not going to get it. I think not anytime soon, but eventually they will get it. Because even the new Champions League is already kind of taking away some of the things from the Super League. So if everybody's leading that way, it's just to appease the big clubs. But I mean, it's just a money grab. Like someone says, it's a money grab. Everybody wants money and they want more money and they don't want to do the right thing to make money, but they just want
shortcuts.
The English thing is the way it is because we made the league very competitive. They need to make their own leagues competitive. Share the TV rights fairly equally among the clubs. The league will become more competitive. And that's how you raise the value of your league. But if you want to remain the same, fighting at the top every season, then you can't complain that nobody's watching your league. When only 2 of you are winning the league every season.
Yes.
So that's it. So Premier League did not get to where they are today just because they are Premier League. It's because they took steps in the past.
They built it step by step.
Yes, and then when league is competitive, then you can sell your product and people want to buy because every game, Everton can beat Arsenal. Man City can lose. Yeah, because every game is tough. Leeds can beat Man U. It's because they made it. Arsenal can go to a club like Brighton and say, you know what, this is your player that's played 26 matches. We want to pay 70 million. And Brighton will say, no, go away.
No.
Yes.
That is the power of the league. Because a club like Arsenal should not be able to go to Brighton and drop 50 million and they will say no for a player that's played 26 matches. But that's how it is. The league is so competitive, nobody will give you an edge over anything. You want something, they'll tell you this player is 100 million. If you don't want it, go away, come back next summer. That is how it is. So the league is competitive that everybody wants to watch it worldwide. And that's how you sell the product.
If they want competitive leagues, Barcelona and Real Madrid should share the money with La Liga clubs.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what Ovi is saying.
That's what saying.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That they should have a competitive league, and then if they have a better league, they will have a better product. It's the same thing happens in Germany. Most of the money goes to Bayern Munich. They have a one team league, So that's like facts, like they're saying facts from Ovi. So we're gonna have to stop there because we've got 4 minutes. I'm keeping a hard count on this one. I normally should not go above 1 hour. My producer is gonna kill me when she gets to producing the highlights of this video. I am dead. I might not be allowed to host for another 3 months the way it's going. So please, I'm going to run through quickly. If we don't have to do kudos, if nobody has kudos, if you have kudos, you just name it. You don't have to tell us too much about it. Does anybody have predictions for the Champions League games? Quickly, Bayern versus PSG versus Bayern. Who's winning?
Bayern goes through.
No, the first leg. Who's winning the first leg? Who's winning the first leg?
Was it first? Let's talk. Who goes through?
Bayern goes through over 2 legs. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ola?
Yeah, Bayern.
Ovi?
PSG.
I think PSG go through. Milan versus Spurs. Ovi?
Spurs.
Ola?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, Spurs. Because Milan are not so good.
Yeah, Milan are dead food. Yeah, Spurs.
Yeah, Spurs too. Dortmund versus Chelsea.
Ooh.
Dortmund.
Dortmund.
Like, Brugges versus Benfica. That's a tough one. Brugges versus Benfica.
Benfica. Even an Enzo left Benfica. Yeah.
Okay, Benfica. All right. Does anyone have any kudos for this week?
Kudos, Riyad Mahrez. I think he's been on fire. I think he has been doing very well for City. He used his World Cup very well. Donkey of the week, PGMOL, VAR.
You messed up the name just the same way they messed up VAR.
I was so angry. I'm so angry at them. They're useless. I've always been complaining about them. The Chelsea game, the penalty Chelsea should have got. Arsenal. They're useless donkeys.
Yeah. There's a comment that goes, "Hello guys." That was on Nomer. He said we've got to talk about the incompetence of Premier League referees. Banter said this is really killing the game. That's what I was just saying. I thought we're going to have time to talk about this.
That's what I was saying.
Unfortunately, we ran out of time. He said this just keeps getting worse each week. Like,
true.
I'm a Manchester United fan. We've had 2 stonewall penalties, one each in the past game, in each of the last 2 that wasn't given. Like stonewall penalties, like somebody kicked Weghorst, kicked him in the shins.
Chelsea yesterday, the guy
Chelsea, that guy literally
he said it after the match. He said my father was a goalkeeper, was a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He boasted. After the match, in an interview.
Arsenal, the guy, the VAR guy did not do lines for offside, but you were checking for offside.
He forgot to check. How
are you checking for offside?
What are you doing?
What were you doing?
They're all useless. They're all
they will come out and defend them. They'll come out and defend them. I think that's borderline everybody's donkey of the week. But I think Perez is still a donkey.
I have no. I mean, I have a separate donkey, and that is the group of Manchester United fans, led by this guy called Rand, who literally, this guy literally rinsed Garnacho, 18-year-old playing straight at Manchester United, telling the world the guy is crap. The guy, if he's old enough to pretty much just slating this guy, young 18-year-old boy. Because apparently Garnacho didn't have the best game in the first game we played against Leeds on Wednesday, but you don't do that to an 18-year-old boy. And those fans need to be ashamed. They need to be ashamed of themselves. Regardless of whether Garnacho even scored today, they were always going to be my donkey. That's just unacceptable.
Okay. Anyone has any other kudos? None. Okay. All right. Okay, kudos from one of the comments goes to the Brentford manager. That's true. He's done a good job. Donkey Spurs. Oh yes, Spurs. Akinola Adegu says Donkey is Spurs. Ayo says kudos goes to the Brentford manager. Okay, yes. I'm gonna take a moment to shout out everyone I can remember. Now, I did my best to remember the people that commented. The comments have all scrolled past, and I might not remember everyone, but I wrote the names I could remember because it has been a fun podcast. We had so many comments. Like they're still coming in. Donkey's Southampton manager.
That guy is a donkey. That guy is
overpromoted. That's all. Overpromoted.
Yeah.
Oh, Zaza, before we go, I don't mean for us to end this podcast on a bad note, but the thing that happened in Turkey and the fear of the earthquakes, I think at last count, I heard it was 24,000 people dead. Our hearts go out to those people, and Christian Atsu, we still don't know what's happening with him. So just spare a thought for those people, guys, and pray for them in whatever way you can.
Yeah. May they rest in peace.
May they rest in peace, man. See, I come to football to escape this, so I didn't want to bring it up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to end it on.
That's okay. No, you don't. There's nothing to apologize for. There's nothing to apologize. This is bigger than football. It's bigger than football. We can only pray for them. That's all we can do. If you've got a generous heart, please remember they need your help. You can send donations to them. There are many ways to send. Just use a very good charity so the money gets to the people that need it. As I was saying, it's been a fun-filled podcast, and it's good to have all of you here. It's things like this make us appreciate the opportunity to still be smiling and laughing and be angry at games. Be passionate about it. So I want to shout out to Ayo and Linga who were on here earlier, but had to leave because they had prior commitments, but still came through to comment. Special shout out to Suzu, who was commenting from the beginning. Like basically, she was trolling us with comments, like pleasantly trolling us. It wasn't like the negative trolling. It was wonderful banter. Shout out to
It was on smoke.
Yeah, man. Suzu was on fire today. Onome, your comments were very good. I apologize we couldn't talk more about the referees, but that was a great comment you put out there. Sammy, Manchester United are not in the title race. Please do not jinx us, please. Spliff, Bolu, Henry, Akin, Soji, and everyone who's commented. If I missed any name, but I think I got everyone. I appreciate you guys. I couldn't read out all the comments because there were so many, but please keep coming up, keep following us. We're on YouTube at Footy Fantasy, on Facebook at Footy 80 Fantasy, on all your podcasts, media at Footy Fantasy. We'll be back here next Sunday at the same time or an hour later, which 2 p.m. Central American time or 3 p.m. Central American time. Till then, Champions League is back. Let's go have a good week, everyone.
Some people are not in the Champions League, though. Some people are just playing Europa League. You know?
Europa is back.
Some people will not be in Champions League next season. Don't forget.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.